everyone and welcome to this new video. Today I want to review the inks and pens of Ferris Wheel Press. Ferris Wheel Press is a brand that mostly produces inks, but they also have other stationery like pens and notebooks, and they're based in Canada. And they exist over a little more than 10 years, and yeah, I came across them like I think a year ago, and in the last year I obtained quite a few products of them, and I thought it would be nice to show you my opinion about them and yeah, show you what's all about. I think especially recently they get quite popular and they're all over the place, especially in Instagram, and yeah, I think it's hard to miss them because their design is just gorgeous. I have here, for example, a few boxes, and if you look at them, for example, this is the Velvet Ballet ink. Yeah, it's just so, yeah, I really love the design. This is like a Velvet Ballet, as I said, but if you look at the package, you also see like a stage, and there are some animals dancing ballet on it, and I think it's so well thought of, and every ink has a story behind it, and yeah, that's also, I'm really a sucker for stories behind my stationery, then it really drags my attention. So yeah, I really love this. And this one also, this is the Atlas Iron Ore, and I also really like this design because it's a collaboration with Atlas Stationers in Boston, and it's a stationery shop obviously, and in front of their shop they have like black iron, I think, pillars, and yeah, the ink is based on that pillars in front of the shop, so how the front of the shop looks like, and you also see it on the box, like with the pillars and the front of the shop design. I just really think it's super nice. Also, when you look, for example, to the special editions of the inks, they are also like in those shiny boxes, and yeah, and every box has like this own design. I think it also, yeah, has so much creativity because they produce quite a lot of inks in quite a rapid speed, and yeah, to make all the designs, I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I think it is really nice, and at least it drags my attention. Also, when you look to the bottles, I really like, these are the larger sizes and these are the smaller sizes, and they all have that bolt on top of it, and I really like it. And also like the, yeah, this design I also think is really beautiful. So yeah, enough about the packaging, because with the packaging we come so far, but yeah, it's all about the ink in the end, how it's writing, what are the colors like, how are they holding up, how do they act on the paper. So I will put my camera in a different position, and then I will walk through all the inks I have, and also this fountain pen and this ballpoint pen. I will also show you something about it. So I will put my camera in a different position, and then we continue with switching the inks and telling you more about these pens. Let's start off with this ballpoint pen. As you see, it comes in such a cute metal box, and yeah, there's Ferris Wheel Press brand is printed on it, and some cute little designs. And when you open it, you see the pen inside. I actually use the pen at my work, so I repacked it for you. I have this pen I think now for 2 months, and I must say it writes really nice. It's just like a regular ballpoint pen actually, but it's really nice because it's like, this is metal and it's like a bit shiny creamy color. Here's also written the Scribe on it. And here you also see that it's not the bolt, but it also looks kind of industrial look. There's also like a little hole in it, so you can maybe either hang something on it or hang it to something. And you just twist it to open it. Yeah, it's quite a straightforward pen actually. The only thing is that it sometimes stops with writing. So that's the only bad part of this pen. It writes nice, it writes quite smooth in my experience, but sometimes I need to make it work again. So that's the only downside of this pen, but I think the design, and yeah, it's also nice and heavy. It also is square, so it won't roll from the table, which is also handy. Yeah, I'm just quite happy with this pen. So, till so far about this ballpoint pen, and let's now go to the inks and the fountain pens, of course. And for the swatches, I decided to start in this new journal. It's actually not new, I have it already for quite a while. I also ripped a few pages out of it because I was using it for my for a course that I followed. But in the end I didn't write that much down for it, and it was just, yeah, standing there and doing nothing. So I decided to rip the pages out and use it as my swatch journal. So in the end, it also feels good to yeah, give good use to stuff that I already have. This is the Endless Recorder, and it has Tomo River paper. That's also why I bought it, because I think Tomo River paper is such heavenly to write on with fountain pen ink. I mean, if you love the ink and the properties of the ink, yeah, this is just really the paper. And about this particular journal, I also like that it has like this pages and table of contents, so you can write down, for example, different brands that you use or swatch. So I skipped this one because here you see the ripped pages, and let's start here. Yeah, let's start with the collections of 3. This is the small set, this is the Bookshoppe Collection. The Charger set is the official name. And when you open the box, you also see already like every great idea begins with a spark of imagination. It's also nice. Check if I can get it out. Yes. It's also like how this is packed. It's looks so beautiful. Just open it a bit like this. And what I like about these bottles, it's like they made it like batteries. You also see it, maybe this one is better because it's darker ink, with the plus and the minus. Please use creatively. And also the lid is also looked a bit like a battery, like if you store it like this. Looks a bit like a, yeah, the charger set. It charges like a battery. I think that's why it's named like this. So let's swatch these. In this set is the Storied Blue, the Wonderland Coral, and Peter Moss. I actually first want to write down that this is all about Ferris Wheel Press. I have several pens inked up with Ferris Wheel Press, but yeah, not with all of my ink, of course. So I will use the fountain pen from Ferris Wheel Press as a dip pen. I sometimes do that if I want to make a sample from ink. It immediately gives me the chance to show you a little bit more about this fountain pen. I have the creme glacé in satin. And if you look to the package, it's also like the glacé is like ice cream. It's also like thought of that. Yeah, it just looks nice. This is cardboard though. And if you open it, it says Write History. And it comes in a sleeve. And this is the pen. When I bought it, I thought it was actually like shiny, but I think it's also really nice in matte. I don't have that much matte pens, and I think it gives like an extra nice vibe to it. And here you also see the bolt again coming back. And what I like, what I love actually about this pen is this is so gorgeous. Look, I think these engravings on it are so beautiful. And also on the nib. I hope you can see it. It is so beautifully designed. I really love this. This is really why I fell in love with this pen. I actually need to hold it like this. Here you see it in the right position. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Also the white color, I think it's really nice. You're not supposed to post this pen, by the way, because yeah, if you do that it might scratch here if you can't live without posting your pen, you can do it of course, but then you can expect here it scratches. It's also written on the website of Ferris Wheel Press, don't post this pen. It also comes with a converter, which is also nice that it already comes with one. But yeah, I won't fill it up yet. I will use it as a dip pen. Okay, let's start up with this Peter Moss. I carefully open the bottle. Oops. And I first make like a little swatch with pencil. Really careful that I don't tip it over. Then I take the pen and I dip it carefully, not too far in the ink, so I don't want all this black to be filled up. And now I immediately close this, otherwise I'm afraid I will tip it over and it becomes a mess. Okay, let's first test it a little bit out with some of these lines. These are like these scribblies for cursive writing. It's nice to test it like this. And this is called Peter Moss. It's a nice green ink. There's not too much to it. There's like no shading, no sheen, nothing. Maybe a little bit shading while writing, but yeah, it's a nice plain green ink, I think. Then I just with a wet wipe clean this pen up. And then when nothing comes out of it, you can just use it again. Then let's continue with the Storied Blue. This is also just like a plain ink. Nothing fancy to it. The ink always has these rubber caps, which is sometimes hard to take it off. And I first make a swatch with this little brush. And then I dip the pen carefully in. Just a teeny tiny bit. Let's swatch this up. Let's do it the same. Also just like a pale blue color, nothing too much to it. Just a nice blue color. I bought these ones like really long time ago. I must say I hardly use them, but when I see it like this I think like, oh yeah, it looks actually quite nice. This one has some sparkle in it. This was the, I forget the name, the Wonderland in Coral. So I put it here. This is just a beautiful peachy color, as you can see. This is, by the way, a fine nib that I have. I think with a more broad nib you can see the properties better. This was Wonderland in Coral. A beautiful peachy color. Really, really nice. Look how gorgeous this is. You see the sparkles a little bit. It's just really subtle. I noticed this is like an older line of inks, and I have the feeling, but I might be wrong, that the sparkle and everything became much more recently with the newer editions. I've now some inks that I have pens inked up with. That is this collection. It's the Finer Things collection with the Oyster Hour, Steeped Umber and Spruce County Post. So this will be a quick and easy swatch. This is the Spruce County Post. They are all no sheen, no shimmer, so just a bit shading. I was thinking I actually have like a beautiful stamp from Petra Bricic, and I'm just thinking of it right now that I have it. I thought it would be perfect for the swatches. So maybe the other pages I will swatch it with that stamp. It's this stamp. I think it just is so pretty. Maybe I will do it on the next page. But to swap it right now in the middle, I don't like it. So I just continue with what I'm busy with. This one pen I've inked up with Oyster Hour. You immediately see it's also different. And this is Oyster Hour. This was the Oyster Hour. Then we go to the Steeped Umber. That's this one. The Steeped Umber I have in this pen. This is with the needle point, so it shows off the ink a bit less, I think. But let's see it. You immediately see the line difference between this and this. This is with a fine point and this is the needle point from Estabrook. This is the Esti Cola. And this is the, I keep forgetting this name, Steeped Umber. I noticed that writing with this super fine nibs, I also find it harder to write really neatly. Maybe the letters are too large for it. That's also possible. But yeah, I went for a certain size already. So I have to continue this. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is the Steeped Umber, a beautiful dark brown color. I really love it for fall. I just actually love it all times. And you also see these are like earlier inks, but like with these newer ones, there's much more into it. You see there's like a little green color. It's like light brown, darker brown. Here also you see some different color variation, though it's still wet. In the writing you don't see it that much though, as you can see. It just mostly gives some shading. But yeah, when you paint with it, this is really nice colors. I have also an earlier video in which I paint with these inks. I will put a sign in top of this video so you can click on it to watch it later. Or now, if you're done with this, it's also possible. But yeah, they are painted with these three colors. And this is the Spruce County Post. I think this collection, I bought this collection also myself. Right now I'm in the ambassador program of Ferris Wheel Press, so they sent me inks, but this was still the time that I wasn't doing that yet, and I bought all these three myself and I'm so happy with them. I think they're so beautiful. I really love this collection. I bought it from 24 Paper Shop, by the way. That's a stationery shop in the Netherlands, and they have a lot of Ferris Wheel Press in their collection. I inked up this beautiful Leonardo pen with it, with a flex nib. It's such a beautiful golden nib. Look at this. Just love it. And here you can see a bit more the flex. It's such a wet nib also, as you can see. It really gives a lot of ink. And this is the Spruce County Post. I always want to say country somehow, but it's county. I I think for the extent of this video I will swatch the rest also off camera, so you have a bit of idea of how I'm doing it, and then I tell you afterwards something more about it. Otherwise you only watch me swatching and maybe it's a little bit boring. I think you have the idea right now, so I will swatch everything quickly and then come back to you. Okay, I thought I would continue swatching for you and come back in the end, but I decided to turn on my camera a little bit more because I want to tell you something. I shake this bottle and probably it's not good enough, but you see there's a lot of, this is a spark of ink with shimmer inside. And you see there's really like a lot of residue, so you really have to shake it well. Otherwise everything is under the shimmer, I think. And I will see if I can shake it better so that it goes a bit away. But I have it more with their inks, especially the most recent ones. They are really packed with shimmer. I must say I read sometimes that people feel a bit hesitant to fill up their fine nib or extra fine nib pens with shimmer inks. I actually just do it, and sometimes I need to unclog it a bit, but I mostly don't have problems with it, especially with the fine nibbed pens. And you see it's now all soppy and you really need to let it rest a bit. But if you let it rest, you also immediately see all the shimmer goes to the bottom. That much shimmer is inside. It's really amazing. It's nice though, because I think compared to other inks, you really see the shimmer in this ink so good. I have also, for example, from Jacques Herbin, I have some inks and there's also shimmer inside, but when you write with it, you see it much less. Well, with these Ferris Wheel Press inks, you see it really well. And I think they decided to put up the shimmer a lot more compared to earlier. Let's swatch this also together with you. I have this beautiful scarlet inked up with it. It's with a fine nib. I think the fine and extra fine are still my favorite nibs, honestly. For me, with the fine, it shows just enough properties of the inks, but it's also fine enough for my handwriting, which is quite small. If I just have my normal writing. And this is the Velvet Ballet. Now you see, the drying time for this is quite long, but I don't know if you can see it, but it's really packed with shimmer. I have it actually in another sample. I'll take it for you. Here you see it even better. It's like really Bordeaux, nice red. And also in the writing you see it. Unfortunately from the other side it leaked a bit through, but you still can see it. So now I will really continue with the other inks, and yeah, I will come back a bit later. Okay, I swatched up most of the inks, but I thought I am going to swatch up the newest inks, which are really recently released, or they still have to be officially released. And that is the Lapis Lullabies and the Purple Jade Rabbit, and I thought it would be nice to swatch it together with you. The Lapis Lullabies comes in this box. I showed it before also with the intro, and the Purple Jade Rabbit actually also. So first let's start with the Lapis Lullabies. Yeah, it comes in such a cute tiny bottle. I shaked it already. It has some blue shimmer in it. And the sheen is not available, it says, so it means there's no sheen in it. And I'll first do again with my water brush. And it's really a nice rich blue, as you can see. And And what I noticed while swatching is that yeah, the more recent the inks were released, the more pigmented it became. It was harder to clean this brush, for example, and to clean the nib of my pen. I have the feeling the pigment is really high in it, or they did something with it. I'm not sure, but that's at least my experience in this swatching. Then I dip the pen. I quickly give it a shake because it was standing for a little bit again. Close it. And here you can see the shimmer. It immediately goes to the bottom. That's how much is in it. Let's dip the pen. And for the people who don't know what Sheen is, I will show it to you a bit after, because then I can show you on this paper. Especially the Tears of Sapphire is extremely sheeny. It's the one you see above. I don't know if you can see it already in the camera, but let's first finish this. This is the Lapis Lullabies. I really love this blue actually. I love this powdery blue. Okay, this is it. I quickly tell you about this pen also. I think the nib rides quite smooth, and it's made of metal, and yeah, it feels quite sturdy. And as I said, I think the detailing on it is really nice. The only downside is, I think, if you have longer writing sessions, that this might cut in your finger and it might start hurting if you hold it more like here. But I notice I hold my pen more here, so it's resting on this part, so I don't think I will have really problems with it, honestly. And I think if you have larger hands, it might be too thin for you. It's really a slim pen, especially when you compare it, for example, to Esterbrook. If you, for example, look to the grip section, you also see the nib is much smaller. Yeah, it's all about personal preferences, but if you don't like it, this might not be the pen for you. I like, yeah, I don't really mind smaller or bigger. It just depends on my mood, I think. I think small is also really nice. So these are my thoughts about this pen. It's a really nice pen for, yeah, it writes also quite smooth. And it looks beautiful, of course. And the last ink is the Lapis Lullabies, and I first want you to show you this bottle because there's extra design on it. I think it's so cool. And I quickly inked up a pen with this one because I really love the color. Let's first swatch it. It's also packed with shimmer. It's really a purpley, dusty color, really nice. And I inked up this gorgeous Sailor Sound of Rain pen. This is the Spring Rain. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I thought with these cap colors, these lilac colors, I just wanted to fill this one up immediately. It's really a light, dusty pink, dusty purple. I think it's really nice. I always like to write with different colors in my spreads also. It depends a bit on which is the color theme of my spread. The colors I use in the embellishments I also use in my ink. This ink has no sheen to it, I think, as I can see. This is the Purple Jade Rabbit. So this is it. This is all the colors of the inks I have. Let's have a quick look. I told you a bit before about the sheen of ink, especially in the Tears of Sapphire. I will hold it up for you. I will also stand up so I can check if you can see it. Yeah, if you hold it in the light, the sheen is a bit of a metallic-y color. Like if you change the direction, you also see it, it's a red sheen. It's different from shimmer because shimmer is the little sparkles in it. It's like the sparkly thing, like you see it, for example, in the Purple Jade Rabbit. You see it really well. And also in the Lapis Lullabies. And also in the Tears of Sapphire. See, you see like the little silver sparkles, but you see also the gorgeous, gorgeous red sheen. This is really my most favorite ink of the Ferris Wheel Press that I have right now. And you see it also in the Twinkling Tea Party. That one is also doing a lot. Queen and Castle, you also see a lot of sparkles. And if you compare it, for example, to the earlier release, the Wonderland Coral, there's also shimmer, but it's more, I don't know, it just looks somehow different. It looks just a bit more plain, like the ink. Like here it does like nothing. And here you see like there is something happening in the ink. Velvet Ballet, also really beautiful. Land of Shangri-La. I'm really happy with those inks. I think, yeah, I have the feeling they improved the quality of the ink over the years. As I can see it from how packed it is with pigment, or it's not pigment actually, it's dye based ink. So how much it's packed with at least the color, dye color. And I have the feeling there's also much more to it. I have the feeling there's more shimmer in it, and yeah, there's also more other properties. Like also now you see coming up the Blue Beryl Tonic, it's also getting a bit of pinky vibe in it. But the Tears of Sapphire and the Twinkling Tea Party, they're the most sheeners of all, as you can see. So yeah, these are my thoughts about the Ferris Wheel Press inks. I think you really can't go wrong with any of them. They're all beautiful. I think they also are nice to write with. The only downside to it, if you write with a fountain pen, especially with fine or extra fine nibs, is that it might clog your nib with the high amount of shimmer in the inks, especially in the ones with shimmer. So yeah, I still do it anyway. I just clean my nibs every time when my pen is empty, and I never had any problems. Sometimes I have a bit problem with starting up, but it's always easily solved. But it might also depend on the fountain pen you use. Yeah, so that's it. That's my thoughts about. We started with the ballpoint, for my feeling, a long time ago. And yeah, this gorgeous fountain pen, I'm also super happy with it. And yeah, all the inks. And I hope I gave a bit like an impression of what it Ferris Wheel Press brand is all about. And I hope you also enjoyed watching it. If you like my content, yeah, you can consider subscribing to my channel. It would really help me. And you can also like this video if you liked it, or leave any comment if you have anything to say. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time, and then I will do a journal with me video again, because that is too long ago for my feeling. So I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!